Okay, so today is Tuesday, April 26th, 2022. And we're so excited to be with Ayanna Maia. Um, Today is her interview with the TAI Air Teaching Artists Institute Artists in Residence Housing Program. She is going to tell us more about what she does in community health arts. And Mama Ade Olomo, our Thai elder, as well as Haki Ami, our board president, will be walking through a few questions. We also have with us Miss Bobby Rush, our first artist in residence that will be her first roommate. And she will also be asking a few questions. We will open the floor for her to ask things about living arrangements and preferences and things of that nature. I'll allow Baba Haki to give us a basic introduction, and Mama Ade, if you wish, you can take over from there and let us know how you would like to proceed.
Sure. Well, may I go on first, Kim, or is that okay?
Yes,
Or
please. Yes.
certainly. Well, thank you, everyone. Let's see who's here. All right, everybody's here. Well, I appreciate this opportunity. Currently, I apologize. I'm at Coppin State University for a governor candidates forum. So, but had to step out because I thought this was important too. I'm certainly so. Both of you know me. Well, Bobby now's getting to know me a little more, and so what we envision with this is to, create basically a conscious, cultural, artistic, empowered entrepreneurial movement, if you will, by both encouraging you all in your development, but also with providing you with a quality, uh, safe, peaceful, nurturing housing that's protected and secure. So, so I'll just say that. And but pretty much, I mean, the initiative is all encompassing in a context that the Park Heights area certainly has challenges, and it's going to need a level of uh, consciousness and maturity, understanding though that you both are sisters, and I know these environments in the streets of Baltimore can be a little tough with just the elements. So, but I have brothers, community brothers. I'm connected to everything and everybody in Baltimore. So just know, regardless of any challenges you face, they can be overcome by our collective support. So just continue to think big with your talents, your skills, and know that you will grow. You will be encouraged to grow. You will be supported to grow in every level. And you also have an international network with the Teaching Artists Institute to do phenomenal things, unprecedented things, and you can just grow to be as great and spectacular and as culturally competent as you desire to be. Um, so I just want to encourage you all to, keep an open mind about the initiative and the possibilities that we envision, and feel free to, comment, like, or, or just give me feedback. Don't feel like you can't talk to me or talk to Kim or Mama Ade as well. But every problem there can be a solution to. But just know that we're moving forward and making progress, and you all, I would like for you all to consider being a part of that, and you certainly can do so. All right, help us. What they say, help us to help you to help us. So that's all I'll have to say. So I'm gonna go
Thank
on
you,
mute,
Dr.
y'all.
Haki.
I'm gonna go on mute, and I'm gonna take out my screen, but I'll be listening on my earphones. I'm just here just to show my face. So I don't, they just talking and talking and talking. So
Thank you, brother. Thank you
all right,
so
y'all.
much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, hey everybody. I'm Mama Ade, and hey Bobby, I love you. um, so I think one of the most important things is going to be the relationship between you, Ayanna, and Bobby, because you all will be coexisting in the same space. And Bobby already knows I'm nosy. I ask a million questions, but feel free to say, you being nosy, don't be asking me all these questions. If there's something you don't feel like answering, you don't have to. I have a thick skin. I don't mind you saying, you all up in my business. But and then the last time you were on, I was multitasking, and I know you told us about your family and all the wonderful things that your family does and everything. Could you just very briefly just go back over some of that for me? Just a brief synopsis of things.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm Ayanna Maia, and I am the daughter of two social workers who were born and raised in upstate New York. I was born here in Baltimore, Maryland at Johns Hopkins Hospital. It's just me and my brother right now. And and probably will continue to be until we have children. I come from a family of teachers, preachers, social scientists, scholars, people who are interested and advocates of education, and just historically have done community work. I just learned maybe 2 years ago that my great grandmother was featured in a book called Pioneers and Trailblazers. And she was featured, her story was featured as she was a school teacher back in, I think, the 1800s. And she was known for creating a school. I'm in the process of learning more about my family history, particularly on my father's side. And I look forward to working with my auntie, who is the family griot. I have 6 aunties on that side, and I had one uncle, technically 3, who are through 2 through a marriage, and I lost an uncle about maybe 7 years ago from mental health challenges. That's not widely known, but I'm okay sharing it, and it's a part of my own testimony and my work and my motivation to do the work that I do in public health. And so I'm just excited to move forward, be clear in what I'm here on the planet to do. And I also have a lot of cousins who are teachers, who have a degree in psychology. My brother has a degree in psychology, so do I. Yeah, we're just a family of education enthusiasts and lifelong learners and activists in the realm of education and learning. So,
all right, well, that's right up my alley, because same here. I'm an educator. I'm an artist. This is something I've done all of my life. A theater person. I've been performing and everything since I was 5 years old. I've been teaching since I was 17. I'm only 28 right now. All of my children are older than me. But I have people coming up to me with their grandchildren talking about, don't you remember me? You was my teacher in the 3rd grade. And I'll be like, get away from me, because I'm trying to be 28 and sexy up in here. But it's a wonderful legacy. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I I love traveling. I love teaching. I love all of that. So that resonates, greatly with me. Um, and the way I would prefer, if Bobby, if any time in here, I prefer you just jump in and, just talk or ask questions or whatever. Do you mind, Ayanna, if we do
No,
things in that way?
I'm all about partnership and collaboration, so that
Okay.
works.
Sounds good to me. So uh I ask a lot of off the wall questions. Um uh I started with Bobby's like, "Oh, tell me about your tattoos." And she didn't bat an eyelash, and she just very graciously explained to me, what her tattoos mean and all of that. And I was just truly intrigued. You know, I love people that are different because I'm different. I've always been different my whole life. And I like that in people who embrace their individuality and know what God has put them on the planet to do. And even if they don't, feel like they want to explore that. So that's a wonderful thing as far as I'm concerned. What birth sign are you? When's your birthday?
I'm a Libra, and
Oh,
so true to it. I'm a Libra sun, Aries moon, and Sag rising. So I'm all fire and air.
oh wow. My husband is
Chameleon.
a Libra,
Okay.
but he can't decide nothing for love nor money.
Right. Very indecisive.
But I love him. 42 years.
Okay.
42 years.
Yeah.
So I love him. Um, um, Now, what colors resonate with you?
Well, since a child, I've always loved purple.
Mm,
Never had a reason why. I just gravitated towards it. Kind of like a lilac, lavender purple.
mm,
Um, and then when I started to study feng shui, I learned that pink, and of all pinks, hot pink,
mhm,
which at the time I couldn't stand, um, was one of my wealth colors. So for the
mm,
last 15 years, I probably been embracing hot pink, which now I come to love because it's a quote unquote feminine color. But so I would say purple and pink. And right now the color burgundy has been resonating with me. It's not a favorite
mm,
color, but it's just been a color that's been showing up randomly on my
mhm.
holograph that I'm curious to learn more about. So
You know, burgundy is the color of Oya. Are you
mhm.
familiar with? Uh-huh.
Yes,
And
yes.
so she's the market woman.
Hmm.
Get that money.
Yes.
Get that money. So yeah, and she's the wind.
Hmm.
She's the wind. So
Yeah, change and transformation,
absolutely, absolutely.
and that's the season that I'm in, big time.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So w- tell me about the season you're in right now. Tell me about that.
Well, it's quite intense for me, to be honest. And being an air and fire sign, I've kind of become accustomed to a lot of change and transformation all the time.
Mhm,
I was just having a healing conversation with my auntie about a week ago, and realized that part of my experience or pattern is not being able to stay in one place for more than 2 or 3 years,
mm,
and wanting to ground and wanting to have children and get married and such, what it means to be stable and grounded, has been things I've been looking at, and looking at my past. So it's like I was in 2 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 3 high schools, and then 2 colleges,
mm,
undergrad. So as you can see or follow that, I've just always kind of things have always changed every 2 to 3 years.
mm,
And that's been quite difficult, to be honest, but because I'm very adaptable and gratefully had parents who taught me who I am, and where I come from, I had a very good sense of self at a young age, very young age. And so I think that supported me whenever I was in different um, environments and just situations. I'm just highly adaptable. But right now, so I'm not sure if I mentioned I went to I had my degree in psychology. I started off at Lincoln University, graduated from Bowie State University, both HBCUs. And then I started a graduate program right here in Maryland at what used to be called TAI Sophia, which is now Maryland University of Integrated Health. And I spent a good 2.5 years in that program of for leadership. It was for social change and leadership, transformative, what was it called? Transformative leadership and social change was the name of the program. And I loved it. I delved in it. And for whatever reasons, there's different reasons. Oh, because I was struggling with mental and emotional health, I was not able to complete the program. And then they stopped offering it because when they changed from TAI Sophia to Maryland University of Integrative Health, they dropped the program, and there was a lot of different changes in the program. But I learned a lot, and I've actually everything I learned from that program, learning about leadership from the lens of Chinese medicine. So like learning the characters and qualities of the seasons and the elements, the 5 seasons and elements, and how to incorporate that in how I speak, how I think, how I process information, and how I see the world, all to help me become a more effective leader, which from an Indigenous standpoint looks like someone who's of service. So that was a very rich time in my life. And that was from 2012 to 2015. And right around the time I was finishing up grad school was the time I was in an Indigenous healing process, Indigenous rites of passage or initiation, if you will, in my Sangoma South African lineage, which was really deep and really intense because it was very rigid. And I was in it for about a year and a half. And again, was not able to complete fully, but gained a whole lot of wisdom and broke a lot of cycles that were habitual in my family. And just like my time at TAI Sophia, the things that I've learned, I've carried with me till now. And I would say these last 10 years, since the Sangoma process and since graduate school, I've been focused on my nuclear family and what it means to be healthy. Because before my ancestral initiation, I struggled a whole lot with my own mental and emotional challenges. And through Indigenous healing, ceremony, and ritual, I was able to gain groundedness and centering, clarity of purpose, and support in so many different ways. And so it is a very daunting task to share and or transfer over anything you've learned to your actual family. And I was successful, so successful that so successful that I took notes on the miracles and the breakthroughs. I think I have my thing right here. I have a list that goes from 2013, which is when I started my graduate studies, all the way up until this year, 2020. These last 3 years, I haven't been able to document through. So I have like lists or charts that actually need to, I need to transfer over to computer because they're starting to fade a bit. The ink is. But my point is, I was so successful in applying the information and having such a remarkable shift in my own family that I now feel confident that I can teach and share about family healing. And so I'm excited to, that's one of my presentations or um, um, just things that I want to present to our community around healing, that family healing is possible, even with the most difficult family members and or challenging situations. And that's because I was able to live that. So the ancestors told me it's time, and I'm ready. And ironically or serendipitously, I'm in the biggest rift with my parents, particularly my mom, who I'm struggling with right as I'm like preparing to teach. So I'm like, this is the big initiation of, is what I learned and what I live real enough for me to teach while I'm going through these challenges of housing and food insecurity? Because I'm just now, at a space where I am grounded enough and stable enough to work and keep a job and do those things that adults do. That has taken me a long time because of the challenges that I've had. So I'm in a very interesting, delicate, vulnerable, challenging space in my life. But because of the communities that I'm a part of outside of Baltimore and the places I go to heal, I feel really supported and cared for. And the opportunity to do this is just, an example of that the ancestors and God, created this opportunity for me to be held while I incubate and digest and prepare to give birth to my life's work. So
and that's awesome, because I think Bobby is in that same kind of place. I don't want to speak for you, Bobby, but in talking with her, this whole transitional period is a place where you are as well. Am I correct, Bobby?
Yes.
You want to talk a bit about that?
It's really just been a whirlwind, honestly. I can say right now I'm extremely tired. That's what I feel is sleep is for me in this new space. So I think it's unfortunate, but it's also helpful because it's allowed me to kind of center in a deeper kind of and make peace and find as much peace as I can dig up in myself to like still see the perspective of what's good. That's where I am right now in my change and transition.
And what sign are you, Bobby?
Scorpio.
That's right, the Scorpio. Yes, one of them passionate people. Yes.
My favorite people are Scorpios. My closest friends and support is our Scorpio people. So y'all are real good folks.
See, God is good. I have like a million questions and a very limited time. So
I'll try to be concise. I'm a storyteller, so I'm
me too. And so, but I have to get on this other very important Zoom in about a half an hour, but because we could just go on and on, because I'm very interested in folks and feel free to ask me any questions as we go along on this too, because I don't mind talking about me. I love me some me. So I don't mind talking about myself as well. So you are going to be roommates. So Ayanna, what are some of your pet peeves? Like, are you a neat freak, or what are some of your pet peeves?
That's interesting. I never thought about it because it's only been maybe a couple of times I've actually shared space. Right now I'm sharing space at my brother's room that I'm staying in, and it's been interesting because we're just healing a rift in our connection. So it's been quite the journey. I'm sorry, I have a lozenge.
That's okay.
my allergies have been acting up these last 2 days, and it's been my throat that's been bothering me. So honestly, I think just my overall pet peeve, like whether it's living space or just in connections, is people not able to be direct or upfront about things, or able to address things in a timely manner so that it doesn't, build up. And I'm holding a lot of compassion space for people in general, but especially Black folks, because I think we're just kind of learning what it means to be emotionally intelligent, and learning, certain skill sets around transparency and accountability and stuff like that. So I'm patient in it. And I don't know, I think part of the trauma that I'm healing socially is by being hurt by individuals who either were not fully transparent and honest, one with themselves, and then two with me. And because I'm a highly sensitive person, and because I've been in active healing of PTSD for the last couple of years, it's been some of the situations have gotten kind of ugly. And so I have a fear of people who may not be upfront or direct or confident in sharing their feelings or thoughts, that it will cause problems later on.
Because you don't like to be blindsided.
Yeah. And I was really fortunate in my last place that I was staying before I was at my folks. I was staying with a cousin, and she's a teacher, and it was really refreshing to stay with her because she was very particular. She was all about neatness, but it was good for me though, like for me to have that discipline and to be on my P's and Q's. But she was also very clear about what she liked, what she didn't like. She was an excellent communicator, and it was so refreshing. So that was very therapeutic, staying with her for about a year last year. And so she kind of set the standard. And so I look forward, with whomever I room with, that, we can, one, know ourselves well enough to know what we like or don't like, and, and know that conflicts or contentions can happen, and it doesn't have to be ugly. Like that's been a huge part of my training and my teachings of, like, it doesn't have to get out of control. It doesn't have to be messy. I mean, it can be. I don't mind messy. I'm a past preschool teacher, but it doesn't have to be where we end up harming or injuring each other. So.
And Bobby, how do you feel about that? She was just saying, because Bobby seems to me to be a bit more private, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel kind of the same as what Ayanna was expressing, just straightforward, upfront living, because we're living with people that we don't know, so I have to say it, or you just won't know.
Right.
And I'm pretty private. I've also been considering maybe not living in the house, but still working with the organization, just from what I've been feeling in this month of being there. Like, it's been very hard for me to create the way that I create. And I've been really going back and forth about that, to just be very honest. I have not gotten
Okay, your
audio went out, Bobby.
Audio, yeah.
Your audio.
Can you hear me? Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of spotty.
Okay. Where did I leave off?
About being going back and forth about staying in the house because you're not able to create.
No, it's not. It's been pretty difficult to just, like, that mental rest, that mental peace and quiet with all the stuff around me. But if I'm living with someone, that's what I truly need, just for how I feel about the work that I do, how I feel about how I connect to the work that I do. It matters. Even in working to, make a space for myself that is peaceful, that is quiet, that is something that I can at least pinch out this much creativity and then, rest or do something else. I find that very important, especially if we're going to be working with people. If we're going to be opening ourselves up to people, this is what the bulk of myself truly needs, or I won't be good. For me, I'll be tired, and I won't be in the space where I want to open up and have that exchange, because what am I getting over here? But living with someone, I would say definitely cleanliness. I don't walk up all in your room. You don't walk all up in my room type of thing. If there's something that you run out of that I may have, I don't mind sharing it as long as we're asking for those things. Yeah.
There's so much more that I want to get into. So I might not be able to ask all these questions that I want to ask, because what is preventing your peace, Bobby, in this space? Is it because of the work, folks that coming in working?
It's been all of it really, but I knew up front that people would be in there working. So it's not like, oh, I was blindsided by that, because I knew what I was getting into beforehand. That was very clear. I think being there has also given me time to think. It has been so loud. I have gotten extremely quiet, and I've been able to reflect and be real about who I am, how I need the space to be in order for me to feel like my best, whether it's working with the community or just going outside. How do I feel? What do I want to attract? What do I want to bring back to this space and be calm, be myself? It's crazy because it's only been about a month, but so many changes have happened within this month. And I've been questioning, what is my place when it comes to working with people? Do I want to work so closely to them? Do I want to live so closely to them? Like, just questions that I feel necessary for me to ask because of the vision that Kim does, because of what this all entails. I feel like it was just necessary. As chaotic as it has been, I have to, or it just wouldn't be fair, it just wouldn't be fair, because I'm seeing each side of it. So that's just where I am right now. I'm really looking at, outside of this, how do I just want to show up? Regardless of where I am, what do I want to be? How do I need to feel? What does that look like? What does it feel like? And what can I really give to people if I'm kind of depleted?
And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing, that these questions are coming, because that's what transition is. That's exactly what transition is. Everything is nebulous. It doesn't have a true form yet. And it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't really have a direction, but you can't see what the direction is all the time. And so that's an uncomfortable place. Any transition is an uncomfortable place because it's ethereal. And it's exhausting, especially for people that want to know.
Right.
And so all of this is, and so you do have to find a quiet place for yourself, inside yourself, in your space, whatever. You do have to find that, to be able to listen and hear
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to question. I think that's a wonderful and good thing. It's stressful, but it's, you know, that's growth. That's growth. You know, growth is
Uncomfortable.
and painful
Yeah.
and exhausting and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But such is life. Oh boy, Sophia, home now.
I had a question for Bobby
Mm-hmm.
in reference to what she's experiencing, because I can relate. I've been in flux since I came back, when I was living back home in July with my folks. So from living with my cousin for about 10 months, and then came back home around July, and being at home was very rough because my mom's behavior is not very conducive to peace. And I was just thinking this today, like, I'm exhausted. And I work with seniors. I work as a health homemade. So I'm in people's homes, being of service for them, you know, cooking, cleaning, those things. I'm lucky to have clients who don't require a lot of support physically.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still exhausting. And like today I was at work and my client was talking and talking and talking. And I was just so tired. I was so irritable. I had my earphones in. I was hearing her, but I had to like put some bee buzzing while I'm listening to her, because I couldn't handle with, you know, just whatever energy she was giving me. But my point is, I'm very tired. I'm exhausted. I'm worried about my inner health because I give so much. I'm concerned about if I'm gonna do well in the program as far as what's expected of me. Because like you, I just need a place of rest right now. I just came back from Tennessee, which was a really intense initiation. Even though I went as staff, just like a real rites of passage, every level or every time you go back, it's another layer. And I was not prepared for internally for what I was met with about myself. And I'm just now integrating about 3 weeks later. I do have people that I can integrate with, which I'm grateful for. But my point is, I'm exhausted. I'm angry. I'm sad, you know, because I'm grieving a bunch of stuff. It's been a lot, that just being here with my brother. It's been some, you know, tension a little bit, even though we work separate schedules. And I've been detoxing from my habits. And so on still, that's like extra stress, because I'm not dealing with my stress the way I used to. And so I was actually happy to learn in our first orientation that it's expected to be drug and substance free, because I've been, you know, on and off with that around particular medicines that work for me. But because I'm in trauma recovery mode, it's easy to abuse those things. And so at this point, I've just been abstinent because I was on a 4-day fast for one of my healing modalities. I was on a 4-day fast. And since then, so it's been about a week now. And my point is, I'm stretched, I'm taxed, I'm worried even about, like, my brother's expecting me to be out by Saturday or Sunday. I have obligations this weekend. I just moved in technically here like 3 weeks ago. Like, I'm really sad right now, and I'm feeling in my body like grief coming up at the level of stress that only until now that I'm talking about it am I feeling it, because I really want to cry right now. I'm so stressed and I'm worried about all the transition and happening at once. And like you, Bobby, sleep is really important for me right now, for integration sakes and for peace sakes. And I just found out like yesterday, one of my clients is going to a facility for greater care, and like that's a grieving process
Mm, mm.
because he's one of my favorite clients.
Mm,
And not only do I have to like find a new client so I can continue to make money,
mhm,
but like he was like a grandfather to me.
mm,
And I got really close with his family. And so like now I have to think about, you know, finances and all this other kind of stuff. And my point is I'm under a lot of stress like you.
mm,
And I'm concerned about my well-being, even though there's a part of me that knows I'm going to be okay, but I'm extremely uncomfortable right now
mhm,
in my body and in my life.
mhm,
And so my question for you, Bobby, was like, what is it like the neighborhood for you? Because that's one of my concerns is like safety. And I'm glad Brother Haki, you know, spoke to that. That made me feel very good about, you know, we have access to people, brothers specifically, or people who be looking out for us.
mhm,
So that makes me very happy. But because of, you know, the demographic of the neighborhood, and my parents do not know where I'm going just yet because I can't trust them with the moves that I'm choosing to make because they still feel the need at my old ass age to tell me what to do and how to do it. And I'm like, I gotta do this for me. So they don't know, but they know the area and they've been to the church that of the reverend who lives across the street from them. So they just don't know what house, and they won't know until I feel comfortable. But my point is, what has been your experience in the neighborhood, and do you have any realistic concerns, or has it, you know, what has that been like for you in acclimating to the neighborhood aside from whatever's happening in the house?
For me,
mhm,
I haven't had any comfort with the neighborhood per se. Especially when it's hot out, you get to see who's all around there because they come outside and sit on the porch. It consists of a lot of family, a lot of working people, a few whites, some Mexicans here and there. So that part I wouldn't say be concerned about. Um, it's real if we can get in that house next door and break that TV, you will get your rest. You will.
Okay.
I mean, this person watches TV all day. The TV never goes off. And the
mm,
volume is like on 1,000.
mhm,
Whatever he's watching. We just gotta break it.
mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I feel girl power. Um, you know, that can be handled.
Mm.
You know, that can be handled. And now you're not there by yourself, Bobby. So you got some backup. um, and that's something that should be addressed because they should know that the next part of the house is no longer empty, that it's occupied. And so now you're going to have to, you know, maintain yourself over there. Um, you know, this is neighbors. And I feel like what you all will bring to the community will temper any excess of things because of what you both of you all will bring to the neighborhood, because that's one of the things is affecting the community that you're living in. And I understand you gotta get right with yourself first, you know, in order to make a positive impact. And so, but it's all a process. It's all a process. And you just, you know, eat that elephant one bite at a time. You know, you can't let it overwhelm you. You know, that in my family, that's our main saying because we do a lot. And it's, you know, how do you eat an elephant? Just one bite at a time. But see, in my family, we be making elephant smoothies, eating elephant steak. You know, we fricassee that elephant and we just keep it rolling. We keep it moving.
Did we lose Bobby?
I hope we did not lose Bobby.
Because I was gonna suggest, so I I feel what you're saying, Mama Ade. You know, having experience, having some indigenous training, and even in, you know, the Christian realm, that prayer changes things. And if we're in alignment and we work with the divine, you know, things can happen so that shifts can be made so we can get what we need. One. Two, I was gonna suggest for her, as far as sleeping, maybe she wants to get some earplugs. You know, because I'm actually very sensitive to sound and vibrations as well, and so you know, earplugs might help for her at nighttime. But it'll be interesting to see what it's like. I'll probably most likely be working during the day, so it'll be interesting to see how we can, you know, create peace or discover peace amongst the neighbor who um has cantankerous sounds coming from the other side. So
I'm gonna just briefly ask these questions for you to just think about.
Sure.
Because I'm gonna have to leave in 8 minutes.
Okay.
Are you a bit anal about your things? Do you want to label all your stuff so no one will touch it? Or how does that work with you? So don't answer now. These are just things to think about. Can you cook? And if you can cook, would you just be cooking for yourself? Or would you be cooking for the house? Or, you know, how does that work? What is your preference in music? Are you an early bird or a night owl? Bathroom etiquette. Do you prefer the toilet paper roll over or under? That becomes a thing with folks. You know, you never know.
Really, surprisingly, some people are religious about that.
Exactly. Do you smoke? What about burning incense? Would you be willing to share toothpaste? You know, if somebody was out, you know, and I heard Bobby say that if she has something, you know, and you need it, you know, just ask. Do you prefer people to take off their shoes when they enter your house or no? What about your friends? Are you more a private person or, you know, how would that work when you have your friends over? How would you like to see that happen? How would you like that to work? What about your boo? Do you have a boo? And you know, just questions. Would you prefer a schedule for like washing clothes or dishes? You know, prefer a schedule or just, you know, whosoever will let them come. What do you feel about a dirty stove or dirty dishes? That's one of my pet peeves. I do not like my stove to be dirty. You know, please clean the stove. And I don't like for people to stand with the refrigerator door wide open and you walking all around the kitchen and the refrigerator door standing wide open. That's a pet peeve of mine. So, you know, those kinds of questions, you know, it's good because some of these things, like you say, fester and you just get frustrated with a person just for small stuff like that. That's your own personal, you know, whatnot. What are some of your aspirations? And public health. What are your thoughts around that? I wanted to ask more personal stuff about your own mental health issues. What are those? What are you getting over? All of that. But there's so much to talk about in such short period of time. There's now 5 minutes to 8, and I think that's my time. I didn't mean to monopolize the whole thing, but like I said, I'm a very curious person. I love to learn, and I want to get to know you all better. When I was there the last time, I got a chance to come into the house, see the house. I'd like to come and do a spiritual cleaning of the house. As I told you before, I am a priest.
I actually that was one of the things I was a little worried or getting stressed about and feeling the time crunch, particularly with my brother. Like I wanted to do a floor washing of the room for me and a spiritual cleansing, but because of my schedule and what's going on, like I couldn't even, I don't even have the time to find the proper, you know, medicine or solution.
Herbs and things
Yeah,
that you use.
solution
Yeah.
to use. So it's good to know that maybe I could reach out to you for ideas around that, because that's definitely something I would need and want to do before moving my stuff in, to do a spiritual cleansing.
Sure. Kim, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. Have you been hearing all of this stuff?
I have.
Forgive me.
No, that's exactly what we want. We truly respect the opinion, the guidance, and leadership of our TAI elders. And so thank you for being here tonight to help us bring out the story around, not just Ayanna, but also the chemistry or potential chemistry between her and Bobby, which is why we invited Bobby to be a part of the discussion tonight. From this point, Ayanna, do you have any questions further for us?
Yeah, I guess offline, just knowing, when I could start moving in, and with the signing of the lease, and wanting to talk to you all about the financial piece now, learning that I'll be having one of my main clients transition and all that kind of stuff. So just logistical stuff that we can probably talk about offline, but I'm excited.
Nice. We are too, and I want to thank you for your time today. We'll definitely get back to you after consulting with Mama Ade Olomo and Baba Haki. I thank you again for your time, and if you have no further questions, then I look forward to connecting with you either in the house or in the community, but either way, know that we are now forever connected.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much, and peace and blessings, family.
All right.
Let's go.